Hey, true believers, welcome back to the True Alien Podcast. I'm Adrian Smith, and we're ready to launch another chilling paranormal probe.
Oh, sounds exciting.
It is. We're strapping in for a wild ride today.
Okay, ready.
Through the Siberian wilderness.
Right.
Revisiting the infamous Dyatlov Pass Incident. But hold on to your hats, folks. This time, we've got a twist that'll send shivers down your spine.
A twist. I love twists.
Joining me today is the amazing Julia Jones, our resident expert in all things spooky. She's got a knack for digging into the unexplained, sifting through the shadows to find those nuggets of truth, even when those truths are hiding behind some seriously creepy stuff. Welcome back to the show, Julia.
Thanks, Adrian. It's great to be back. And let me tell you, this one's a real doozy.
Oh.
We're talking skeletal remains, eerie echoes of the original 1959 tragedy, and just to spice things up, a dash of radiation.
Okay, you've got my attention.
It's like someone took the Dyatlov Pass mystery and decided to crank up the weirdness factor to 11.
You're not kidding. For those of you just tuning in to the mystery of the Dyatlov Pass, can you give us a quick rundown of the original incident?
Absolutely. Back in 1959, a group of 9 experienced hikers ventured into the Ural Mountains and met a tragic, unexplained end. Their tent was found ripped open from the inside, scattered across the snowy landscape.
Sounds bizarre already.
It is. The bodies themselves showed signs of bizarre injuries. The official cause of death was never determined, and it remains a mystery to this day.
See, I told you.
Yeah.
Chillin' stuff.
Yeah.
But this is where things take a turn towards the truly bizarre.
Okay.
Recently, new skeletal remains were discovered near Dyatlov Pass. And what's really unsettling is they exhibit strikingly similar injuries to those found in 1959. It's like history is repeating itself, but with an even more sinister twist.
Wow.
So we've got these eerie parallels already.
Yeah.
But Julia, tell us about these new remains and what makes them so different.
The new remains have those eerily similar injuries, but there's also something else. Evidence of radiation. And this is where the alarm bells really start ringing, because radiation was never a factor in the original Dyatlov Pass investigation.
Radiation. Now, that throws a whole new wrench into the works. We're going from a chilling mystery to a potential X-Files episode here.
Right.
So, Julia, who are the brave souls venturing into this radioactive riddle wrapped in a frozen enigma to try and unravel these threads of the unknown?
We've got a fascinating team on our hands this time. Leading the charge is Dr. Anya Petrova, a top-notch forensic anthropologist. But for Anya, this case is more than just scientific curiosity. Years ago, her brother vanished in these very mountains, adding a deeply personal dimension to her pursuit of the truth.
That's heavy.
Yeah. Then we have Luka Kovac, a survivalist drawn to the past by a similar tragedy, the disappearance of his best friend a year prior. He knows these mountains like the back of his hand, and he's driven by an unwavering determination to find answers no matter how terrifying they may be.
A scientist seeking answers for a lost sibling and a survivalist haunted by the disappearance of a friend. It's a unique blend of personal drive and expertise, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. And as if their personal connections weren't intriguing enough, they had a guide who added another layer of intrigue to this expedition. Misha Volkov, ex-military and self-proclaimed occultist with a deep knowledge of the area's dark folklore.
Okay, this is getting good.
Misha contacted Dr. Petrova before the expedition, warning of sleeping evils and gateways in the ice.
Whoa.
He believed there were forces at play beyond our comprehension.
Sleeping evils and gateways in the ice. Sounds like something straight out of a chilling Siberian legend. I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about it. So we've got our team assembled. A scientist, a survivalist, and an occultist. Venturing into one of the most mysterious locations on Earth. What could possibly go wrong?
Well, Adrian, let's just say their journey into the Dyatlov Pass was more than just a physical trek. It was a descent into the heart of the unexplained, where each step amplified the unsettling energy, pushing their sanity and their scientific understanding to the very edge.
Okay, now you've really piqued my curiosity. We've got radiation, whispers of ancient evils, a team of specialists venturing into the unknown. Take us deeper into the heart of this chilling mystery, Julia. What happened next?
Imagine the scene, Adrian. Eerie lights dancing on the horizon, equipment malfunctioning for no apparent reason, and whispers on the wind that sound all too human.
Oh, man.
It's like the mountains themselves were watching, judging their every move.
Whispers on the wind. That sends chills down my spine. Were these just tricks of the mind or something more sinister?
That's the unsettling part, Adrian. No one could say for sure if it was the wind playing tricks on them or something trying to communicate.
Okay, I'll admit I'm hooked. But we're just scratching the surface of this paranormal probe, aren't we?
We are.
There's a reason we're talking about this on the True Alien podcast, and not some cozy campfire story hour.
You're absolutely right, Adrian. This is just the beginning. Their journey takes a terrifying turn, a turn that would test their courage, their sanity, and their very understanding of the world.
Julia, you've laid out a chilling scene, a mystery shrouded in whispers and shadows. Our listeners are on the edge of their seats, eager to hear what happens next. So, true believers, stay tuned as we delve deeper into the Dyatlov Pass mystery with Julia Jones.
Welcome back to the True Alien podcast, True Believers. Before the break, we left our intrepid team facing those strange occurrences. Equipment acting up, unsettling whispers. It sounds like a recipe for a truly terrifying expedition.
It certainly does, Julia. The tension is palpable. What happened next?
Well, remember those whispers on the wind? The ones that sounded almost human?
How could I forget? They still send chills down my spine.
One night, the team was awakened by those very whispers. Only this time they weren't just whispers, they were cries, moans, words that seemed to claw their way out of the darkness.
Oh, wow, that's unsettling. What do they make of it?
Anya, ever the scientist, initially dismissed them as auditory hallucinations, the result of sleep deprivation, stress, the harsh conditions.
Makes sense.
But Luka, whose friend had vanished in these mountains, he felt a deeper connection to the sounds. He believed they were the voices of those who had been lost in the pass, their souls trapped, crying out for recognition.
A clash between scientific explanation and something more intangible. It's a recurring theme in these kinds of stories, isn't it?
It certainly is, and it often makes it even more difficult to determine what's truly happening. Is it the mind playing tricks or something beyond our understanding?
So what did they do? Did they try to communicate with these voices?
They did. Misha, with his knowledge of the occult, believed the voices needed acknowledgement, to be heard, to find peace. He led them in a ritual, a sort of seance, where they acknowledged the presence of the lost souls and offered them words of comfort.
And did it work? Did the voices quiet?
For a while, yes. There was a palpable shift in the atmosphere, a sense of calm that settled over the campsite. But this respite was short-lived.
Of course it was. This is the True Alien podcast, after all. We're here for the chills, for the moments that make you question everything.
You know it. The next day, the team pressed on, driven by Anya's determination to find answers about her brother, and Luka's unwavering hope of finding his friend. As they ventured deeper into the past, they came across a sight that chilled them to the bone.
Okay, you're really drawing this out. Don't leave us hanging. What did they find?
Scattered amongst the snow-covered rocks, partially buried by the relentless Siberian wind, they found skeletal remains. Not just one or two, but several.
Oh, wow. Skeletal remains. Were they hikers from other expeditions?
It appeared so. The remnants of clothing, backpacks, and equipment were scattered among the bones, silent testament to the pass's deadly history.
That's a chilling discovery. Did they try to identify the remains?
They did their best given the limited resources they had. They took photographs, documented the positions of the remains, and collected any items that might help with identification. But as they examined the skeletal remains, they noticed something incredibly unsettling.
Okay, what is it? You're killing me with suspense.
Some of the skeletal remains bore strikingly similar injuries to those found on the hikers from the original Dyatlov Pass incident.
You're kidding. That's beyond creepy. What kind of injuries?
Fractured skulls, broken ribs, internal bleeding, injuries that defied logical explanation, especially given the circumstances.
It sounds like the work of some unknown force, something beyond human comprehension.
That's exactly what Anya, Luka, and Misha began to suspect. As they stood there, surrounded by the silent testament to the pass's deadly power, a bone-chilling realization washed over them. They weren't just dealing with a mystery. They were dealing with something supernatural, something malevolent.
Okay, this is where things really start to take a turn into the truly terrifying. We're talking about a pattern of unexplained deaths, eerie similarities across decades, and now the suggestion of a supernatural force at play. This is what the True Alien podcast is all about.
You said it, and believe me, this is just the tip of the iceberg. Their journey into the heart of the Dyatlov Pass is about to take a terrifying turn, a turn that will push them to the limits of their courage and their sanity.
Julia, you've set the stage for a truly bone-chilling encounter. Our listeners are on the edge of their seats, eager to hear what happens next. True Believers, we'll be right back after a quick word from our sponsors. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to the True Alien podcast, True Believers. We left off with our intrepid team standing amidst the skeletal remains of past Dyatlov Pass victims, Those eerie echoes of the original tragedy, the injuries mirroring those found in 1959. It paints a chilling picture, Julia.
It does. And as Anya, Luka, and Misha stood there, surrounded by these grim reminders of the mountain's deadly power, a sense of dread settled over them.
I can imagine. But they didn't just pack up and leave, did they? They pressed on, didn't they?
They did, driven by a mixture of fear, determination, and a strange sense of responsibility to those who had perished before them.
It's like they were drawn deeper into the mystery, compelled to uncover the truth, no matter the cost.
Exactly. Misha believed the spirits of the lost hikers were trying to guide them, to lead them to the heart of the mystery. He led them further into the mountain's icy grip, following a barely discernible path through the snow and ice.
And what did they find? Was there an end to this chilling trail of breadcrumbs?
There was. After what seemed like an eternity, they arrived at the mouth of a cave, hidden amongst a cluster of ancient, gnarled trees.
A cave. Sounds like something straight out of a horror movie.
It certainly felt that way. The air around the cave's entrance was heavy with an oppressive energy. It felt ancient, powerful, and undeniably malevolent.
I bet that didn't deter our team.
Not at all. If anything, it fueled their determination to uncover the truth.
So they entered the cave?
With Misha leading the way, chanting softly in a language none of them understood. They ventured into the darkness, the beam of their headlamps cutting through the thick, icy air.
I can picture it now. The silence of the cave, broken only by the drip of water and the echo of their footsteps. It must have been unnerving.
It was. The deeper they ventured, the more oppressive the atmosphere became. The air grew colder, the silence thicker, and the shadows seemed to dance and twist at the edge of their vision.
What did they find within this icy labyrinth?
They found more than just ice and rock. They found evidence of rituals, ancient symbols carved into the cave walls, bones arranged in strange, unsettling patterns.
Sounds like they stumbled upon some kind of sacred or perhaps unholy ground.
That's exactly what it felt like. As if they had crossed a threshold into a place where the veil between our world and something else was thin.
So the deeper they went, the more convinced they became that there was something truly supernatural at play in the Dyatlov Pass.
Yes. And that conviction was about to be put to the ultimate test.
Oh boy, here we go. I can feel the chills running down my spine already.
Deep within the cave, in a chamber that pulsed with an eerie blue light, they found it.
Found what? Don't leave us hanging.
The source of the strange energy. The entity that Misha had warned them about.
And what did this entity look like?
It was like nothing they had ever seen before, a swirling vortex of shadows and light, with glimpses of eyes, teeth, and limbs that seemed to shift and change constantly.
That sounds absolutely terrifying.
It was. The moment they laid eyes upon it, they knew they were in the presence of something powerful, ancient, and utterly malevolent.
So what do? Do they try to fight it, to escape?
There was a moment of frozen terror, a moment where they were paralyzed by the sheer, otherworldly horror of the creature before them. But then Misha, with a cry of defiance, stepped forward.
Brave Misha. What did he do?
He began to chant. The words, ancient, guttural, filled with a power that seemed to crackle in the air. He drew upon his knowledge of the occult, weaving a barrier of protection around himself and the others.
Did it work? Did it hold back the entity?
For a time, yes. The entity thrashed and roared, its shadowy limbs reaching out to grasp them, but Misha's incantations held it at bay.
But it couldn't last forever, could it?
No! Misha's strength was waning, the effort of holding back the entity draining him.
So what happened? Did they escape?
Anya, seeing Misha's struggle, did something extraordinary. She remembered the radiation readings, the strange energy she'd felt ever since entering the mountains. She realized that this entity wasn't just supernatural, it was somehow connected to the radiation feeding off of it.
That's a fascinating twist. So what did she do?
With a surge of adrenaline and a desperate hope, Anya grabbed a piece of equipment from her backpack, a device she'd been using to measure the radiation levels. She held it up towards the entity, focusing all her will, her fear, her desperation into it.
And what happened?
The device sparked and sputtered, overloading with the entity's energy. The entity shrieked, its form flickering as if in pain. It was a gamble, a desperate attempt to disrupt the entity's connection to the radiation.
Did it work?
It did. The entity, weakened and disoriented, retreated back into the swirling vortex of energy from which it had emerged. The blue light faded, the shadows receded, and silence descended upon the chamber.
It was over.
For now, yes. The entity was gone, but the gateway remained, a constant reminder of the darkness that lurked beneath the surface of our world.
What a story, Julia. A chilling encounter with the unknown. A reminder that there are forces at play in this world beyond our understanding.
It certainly is. And for Anya, Luka, and Misha, their journey into the Dyatlov Pass would forever change their lives. They had faced their fears, confronted the unknown, and emerged, shaken but alive.
Well, true believers, there you have it. Another chilling paranormal probe into the world of the unexplained. Julia, thank you for sharing this incredible story with us.
It was my pleasure.
And remember, true believers, if you have any stories of your own, any encounters with the strange and unusual, we want to hear from you. Share your experiences in the comments, and who knows, maybe your story will be our next paranormal probe. And don't forget to rate and follow the True Alien Podcast for more chilling tales from the fringes of reality. Until next time, true believers, keep looking up, but maybe avoid any mysterious mountain passes. Stay spooky,